Well, Happy New Year to everyone. And I want to ask a question. What is the future of London? In light of what we've seen in the months leading up to Christmas, since that terrible, terrible massacre on the 7th of October, and I want you to think about this, and I say this with absolute respect and reverence for the people that were killed on the 7th of October, that dreadful massacre. But before their corpses were cold, jihadists and Islamists in the United Kingdom, in London, were out celebrating a genocidal terrorist attack. Within days, they were marching against Israel because they knew there would be a response from Israel, and those marches got bigger and bigger, and the useful idiots on the left and Islamists in the UK have joined those marches. London, the capital of the United Kingdom, it has almost become a criminal offence to fly the Cross of St. George, the Union flag, or an Israeli flag on the wrong day. And yet, Islamists are allowed to parade through our capital city with the black flag of jihad, with the flag of Hamas, with banners calling for genocide. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. They've been allowed to do it with impunity by the Metropolitan Police. And then when patriotic Brits respond very, very gently by getting out Union Jacks or, I was going to say Red Hand of Ulsters, or Cross of St. George flags, the England flag, they're the ones that are harassed, arrested and brought before the courts. What does the future of London look like? I don't live in London. You know, I live outside of Great Britain. When I come to London, I've got to get on a plane to get there. But if you live in London, my appeal this new year is start doing something about it. Start counter-demoing these protests and do it properly. Do it peacefully, do it legally, but do it in numbers. And do it in a way that the message gets across. And who are these people that are organising these marches, these peaceful rallies? Those rallies are rallies of intimidation and anti-Semitism. Anti-Israel, anti-Semitism, it's the same thing, two sides of the same coin. Anyone tells you different is living in cloud cuckoo land. Israel is the world's Jewish state. It is the only Jewish state. And it has a right to survive and a right to prosper. That's another story. But these marches are anti-Israel marches. When they're chanting from the river to the sea, they're calling for the destruction of Israel, and they're calling for the annihilation, the murder and the genocide of anyone that doesn't leave Israel to make way for their hellhole of a state that it would be, their jihadist wonderland. And we'll maybe look in another video at the statistics about what people believe that live in the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank. Again, another story. But I want to read something that a man called Ishmael Patel said. You may all say, who is Ishmael Patel? Ishmael Patel is the founder, I believe, of Friends of Alaska, FOA. You'll see them, their posters or their logo all over the posters that are at these pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian marches. Ishmael Patel. This is what he said about Hamas in 2009, word for word. Hamas, now that's not me saying it, this is Ishmael. Hamas is no terrorist organisation. The reason they hate Hamas is because they refuse to be subjugated, to be occupied by the Israeli state. And we salute Hamas for standing up to Israel. That's what Ishmael Patel said. And if you don't believe me, I'll put a link to the video so you can check it out and see what he said. What are we to make of that? This is a man that's putting tens of thousands of people on the street. And in 2009, he was quite openly supporting a terrorist organisation. Now, I'm not sure whether Britain had prescribed Hamas as a terrorist organisation in 2009. I don't think they did until 2021, which is another thing that the British government has to answer for, along with two-tier policing, not understanding the full problem of Islamist terror and the Islamist threat to our institutions. But quite apart from that, they didn't prescribe Hamas, as far as I know, till 2021. But Hamas was a terrorist organisation. Hamas has always been a terrorist organisation. Read its charter. Read what it said when it was founded in 1987, 1988. The first British suicide bombers. Those two men that went to Tel Aviv. One of them went into a cafe and blew himself and loads of innocent Israelis up. The first British suicide bomber was a Hamas operative. Hamas has been responsible for heinous crimes against humanity, against their own people, against the Palestinian people, against Israeli soldiers, against Israeli citizens, against Israeli children, way before 7th of October. The 7th of October was the high watermark in their abominable terror. So where does that leave London? When we have got men who can organise and put tens of thousands of boots on the ground, tens of thousands of young Muslims onto the streets of London who are getting radicalised. And I've said this before, but I have a friend who is a counter-terrorism expert. And I said to him, I says, should we be worried about these marches? And he says, you better believe we should be worried. He says, because when these people realise that they ain't going to get what they want by peaceful means, they're not like Just Stop Oil where they're going to go and spray some paint over a Christmas tree. They're going to go and blow themselves up in a club or a nightclub. They're going to do a stabbing spree. They're going to drive vehicles into pedestrians on a high street near you. That's what's going to happen. And even if that doesn't happen, there'll be a generation that's radicalised that will get involved in politics, involved in subverting the state and trying to turn our beautiful country into an Islamic hellhole. Now, that's all I'm saying. What does the future, in fact, I'm asking a question, what does the future of London look like? I love London. Got so many friends and people that I care about in London. And I'm very, very concerned about what's happening to our capital city. If the capital city falls, the whole country is in danger of falling. So it's time to stand up. It's time to put some steel in your backbone, and it's time to get out on the streets and oppose these terror marches, these Hamas marches, these pro-jihad marches, and stand for what's right and stand for truth. And do it peacefully, do it within the law, but do it in numbers that can't be ignored and that will make the point that we don't support their genocidal ambitions, we don't support their calls for jihad, and we don't support the Islamization of the United Kingdom. Have a happy new year. I'll see you all soon.